Hi. We're going to do a small talk on adultery. Adultery, what it is, how is it treated in India, and to some extent how is it treated worldwide. Adultery is derived from the Latin term adulterium, and it is defined as, not in law, in Latin. Adulterium means consensual sexual relationship between a married woman and an individual other than his or her spouse. So a married woman having a relationship with anybody other than her husband with consent is called adultery. It is punishable in India, it is punishable in many countries of the world, and it is not punishable and not considered to be a crime in many other countries of the world. What is of importance here is that the very definition says consent is involved. So it is not rape. So an adult woman sleeping with a man other than her husband, who is also an adult, is a crime in India. Now whether it should be or it should not be, we will touch on this in a while. This particular crime is defined in section 497 and 498 of the Indian Penal Code. 497 says adultery: whoever has sexual intercourse with a person who is and whom he knows or has reason to believe to be the wife of another man, without the consent or connivance of that man, such sexual intercourse not amounting to so on and so forth. The point is, the mudda here is that a man cannot sleep with another man's lawfully wedded wife. So immediately let me tell you, if there is a boyfriend and girlfriend, the girlfriend sleeps with somebody else, that is not adultery. The persons are married, they are deemed to be husband and wife after marriage. Now if this lady sleeps with a man fully with her consent, even then it is adultery. Now, the important thing here to understand is, who is punished when adultery actually takes place? The wife is not punished in law. The man is punished. The victim here, the real victim who only alone has the authority to launch a complaint and put the legal machinery in motion, is the husband of the lady. So if a lady sleeps with somebody, the actual victim is the husband of that lady, who can go and complain and lodge a case of adultery against the man who committed it. Let me make it simple. X is a lady, she is married to Y, who is the man. X sleeps with somebody, let us say B. Now X cannot be punished. Okay, the husband which is Y, can put a case on B and send B to jail. Now what is wrong with this law, or what needs correction in this law is this. This is an article I had written in my magazine called Indian Law Radar. That's another story, but I'm referring to it now. He is nailed, she is free. Which means the guy who sleeps with the woman, he is gone. The woman is free. The following glaring irregularities in this law beg for an immediate repeal. Only the man is prosecuted and punished at the instance of a complaint by the woman's husband. The woman is free. There is no knowing if the woman had ever indicated to the man that she was or was not married. What if she lied about her marital status? So what if this lady comes and seduces? What, you meet a lady, she doesn't tell you that she is married. You end up sleeping with her and having sex with her. Her husband can actually put you in jail. Now this is a bit disquieting, because how does the man know that this lady is married or not? He cannot ask her for a marriage certificate. Nobody does that. And secondly, how is he an offender if she is the one who seduced him? If she is the one who cried over his shoulder, she is the one who asked him for some comfort, she is the one who led this relationship into the bed. That being the case, how can the man be punished? But the fact is, this law punishes the man. The description of section 497 who is and whom he knows or has reason to believe to be the wife of another man is itself flawed. Why? How can it be found out whether he really knew it or not? Number one. B. It says nothing about instances where the woman misrepresents her marital status. What if the woman told him that she is single? So a woman lies to the man and says no, she is not married, and then it turns out that she is married, and then the husband comes after the man. Most glaring irregularity. If a husband goes and sleeps with a woman other than his wife, that is not an offence of adultery. Yes, very bad but very true. So the husband goes and has sex with somebody other than the wife. Now the poor wife cannot go and complain against the husband. The poor wife cannot put the other Satan or the other villain of her life in jail. She has no such rights. How is it possible that a husband who sleeps with a woman is free to do so, but a woman who sleeps with a man is not free to do so? Now these are British era laws. Now in those days they must have written it with some idea of protecting the woman somewhere, and let me read this here. These laws were drafted in 1860 when India was under British rule and the condition of Indian women was pathetic. During those periods a man could have several wives and women were socially and economically dependent on men. Women were treated as an object and considered property of men. Now this is true. For a long time, indeed, women were treated as chattel. Chattel. Chattel means nothing more than a belonging or something that somebody owns. This is not my take. That is how the situation was. That is how the law treated women in those days, in the dark ages. From then onwards, things evolved. This is a British era law and this needs to go. It's simply not fair. It's simply not fair that a man who has a consensual relationship with a lady who's a wife has to go to jail. I also need to mention here that state or law should have minimum interference in people's private lives. I feel consensual sex, as long as it is not rape, as long as there is no force, as long as there is no violation of a woman's person, I think consensual sex is the business of two individuals and not the business of state. But having said that, it is necessary to follow laws, it is necessary to understand laws, and it is necessary to abide by them. Through our show, we bring you up to speed with what these provisions are. We may like them, we may not like them, but I'll still have to deal with what these provisions are and how you can protect yourself. The best way to protect yourself and stay above the law or within the ambit of law is to use common sense. I would have told you don't have sex, but that's a bit difficult here. Okay, but just like you buy property after doing due diligence, you get into the bed after doing due diligence. If she's a minor, you are in trouble. You're not in trouble, you're in jail. If she's a minor, it's a rape. If she happens to be somebody's wife, you can be in jail if the lady's husband complains. It is written somewhere, I read, that adultery is consensual sex with the wife without the permission of the husband. Now it is little difficult for me to ask you to go and seek permission from the husband, because I don't know whether this is possible or not possible. So let's call it impossible. So simply put, don't sleep with a married woman in India. Now in some other countries of the world, it is not a crime. For instance, in Japan, it was a crime until 1947. Japan did away with this in 1947. Recently in 2015, South Korea has decriminalized, which means it is not a crime in South Korea. Further, I think almost all of Europe, let me just check here first. Adultery is no longer a crime in any European country. Among the last Western European countries to repeal their laws were Italy 1969, Malta 1973, Luxembourg 1974, France 1975, Spain, Portugal, Greece, Belgium, Switzerland, Austria, so on and so forth. It is not a crime in any of these countries. I don't understand why should it be a crime in India. So let's take for example Luxembourg. In Luxembourg, a married woman can go and sleep with whoever she wants and it is not a crime. I don't understand why should it be a crime for an Indian woman. Now this is not about sex. The word sex raises everybody's hackles. You mention sex and everybody gets offended. You mention sex and everybody gets scandalized. It doesn't have to be so. It's somebody's personal business. It is not anybody else's business. So I hope I have brought you up to speed with adultery. In our next session, we will be dealing with another subject under the broad classification of law and sex. These are vital subjects, vital laws that you need to understand to make sure you are not in trouble, your partner is not in trouble. And I hope you will enjoy this show and send your thumbs up or whatever those things you do on social media to show that you like this. If you do that, you will get more of these free gyan brought to you with a lot of sincerity and love and affection. If you don't send me the thumbs up and if you don't tell me you like it, this will stop soon and you will be in the darkness of ignorance. So send me the thumbs up. I'll come back soon.